Welcome back to the New Music Alliance Radio Hour, aka the Mark and Miriam Show. And you just
Yay!
heard, you just heard the Courtyard Hounds with "Ain't No Sun." Before that, we had Cliff Eberhardt with "My Father's Shoes," and we started off with Caylin Lee, "Granddad's Cowboy Boots." I miss Caylin Lee, but let's go to Courtyard Hounds, Ain't No Sun.
Well, I just wanted to say that we had a challenge our
That's right. Last week,
last week we had a challenge too, and I so I'm going to do a whole show on the challenge, but I ain't have time, so I just did
you
one
only
sec.
had a couple of days from
I
when
had a,
we recorded that show to now.
I know, I know, but I wanted to. We were just said we're do a show to explore non-romantic relationships, and I decided to explore the parent-child, grandparent-grandchild relationship from different points of view in this section, and how vast it is.
And you
Uh,
aced it.
did I ace it? Oh my God,
I
thank
think so. I think this is amazing. So, but let's get into it. So, Courtyard
you.
Hounds, Ain't
The
No
quarter
Sun.
house ain't no
Em-
sun.
Emily Burns Irwin, born in Pittsfield, Massachusetts,
Yes,
known for being in the group
the chicks.
The Dixie Chicks, aka the Chicks.
They're now the Chicks, formerly the Dixie Chicks,
Hmm.
and she's Marnie McGuire, her sister. Um,
Who was
uh,
not from Pittsfield, Mass.
Not from Pittsfield, Mass, but she's from Pittsfield, Mass. This was a project they did outside of the Chicks. This song Emily wrote in response to a film that she found disturbing. She wrote it after a documentary she saw about families who threw their young boys out of their house when they found out that they were gay.
Hmm.
And she found this seriously disturbing. As difficult as it was to write the song and sing the song, she's singing it in from the father's perspective, the father of a gay child. This is a song to support gay youth. So it was very political, and the Chicks were always a very political
Hmm.
group, hence the Courtyard Hounds. It's a very powerful song. It's certainly a very interesting point of view to, for a female group to take, as a songwriter, to, sing from the father's perspective.
I applaud them for doing that. I mean, a lot of times you see bands that, kind of go their separate ways after a while, famous ones, and then you wonder if, like, well, will they go on and do something else that's just as good? And the Courtyard Hounds, they sound just as amazingly and professional as the Chicks were. And I applaud them for doing what they feel strongly about rather than what's going to go to number one on the charts.
Exactly, exactly. And this, in fact, was a big hit. I think they sang it on late night television, and
The album debuted number 7 on the Billboard 200 chart.
that's a pretty high debut.
Mm,
It's a great song, and it really explores something in very important from a very original point of view. Cliff Eberhardt, My Father's Shoes, also a very, very powerful song. Cliff is a folk singer. Pretty much see Cliff performing anytime. He is constantly on the road. He is always performing. In 1990, this particular song, My Father's Shoes, appeared on Windham Hill's Legacy collection, leading to a deal with the label. It's a very powerful song, and I do know Cliff. And so I wrote to him earlier today and, asked him a little bit about this song. And this is what he had to say about it. I had a difficult relationship with my father. I didn't want to be anything like him. So I wrote that as an anthem for all the lost boys who didn't want to grow up to be like their fathers. We talked about this last week that there aren't many songs written by sons exploring the father-son
hmm.
relationship.
Yeah.
Can add this, Rufus Wainwright explored the song about his father, which also was somewhat of a difficult song. And yeah, we applaud Cliff. It's a very powerful song. Maybe this isn't a song that is written very often because maybe this is a difficult relationship, which is sad to hear.
And it's not going to make a lot of money because people want to hear songs about falling in love and falling out of love.
Oh my
That's about it.
God. I don't
I
believe
feel like a
that.
record producer.
No, we're going to do a whole show about this.
I hope you
Now,
do.
now, Caylin Lee, who you said, I miss Caylin
I
Lee.
do, because I was looking her up and I'm like, oh my gosh, I haven't listened to her since she was at our Valley Music Showcase in 2020.
That was a beautiful day
That
out on the
was.
vineyard.
That's right. You and I, yeah, we were sharing the bottle of wine there.
We shared a bottle of wine. The vineyard was a beautiful day. We had our
Yep.
sun hats on. She's from Shutesbury, Massachusetts. My granddad's cowboy boots, a very different song, completely different type of song, looking at the grandfather, talking about her grandfather's stories and his experiences as being, part of her inheritance. I had a very difficult father who actually was a complicated man, but a very good man. He made him. Let's put it this way: he made our relationship more difficult than it had to be,
Mm.
because he was a good person, and I consider the stories that he gave me to be my inheritance, and so I connect with this to some extent. But he didn't leave me any boots, nothing cool like that. He had like floor shine shoes, loafers, like the kind, like the shoe that's actually a sneaker. Getting back to it, I've always loved this song of hers. It's beautiful. It tells a very different story about lineage.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting concept that we don't normally think about. The inheritance, you think of inheritance from your parents, like physical material items, like the cowboy boots, but you don't think about the other traits that they pass down to you as well.
I think she's great. I miss Caylin too. We've got to go find Caylin.
This is one of the reasons why I loved her music when we first met her back in 2020. This like deep connection that she can pull out into a song that everybody can understand and follow. And unfortunately, I don't see anything. I don't see her on the radar recently. She had a
I
great a single, Hurricane, back in 2019, won the 2019 New England Country Music Organization Songwriter of the Year for that single, Hurricane.
really,
Mm,
she's so talented.
yeah.
Um,
I hope she pops back up some soon.
Caylin, call us.
Call us. We'll
Caylin,
feature you.
we need
You know what?
you.
She could come down to the open stage showcase the second Thursday of the month, every month, for the rest of the year. She should come down and play some songs.
You should say something about that.
I'm going to call her.
Okay.
So, what
Okay.
do we have coming up next, Mistress Miriam?
Oh, I'm very, very, very excited. We have some new music, relatively new music of hip hop.
If the listener is normally tunes away when they hear hip hop, I suggest you stick around and listen to this pairing.
Yes. We're going to start with one of my favorites, Apathy, Beam Team. And then we're going to hear one of everybody's favorites, Joyner Lucas, Three Little Pigs.